Everyone, listen up. Today, at the end of our time, we have chosen not only to believe in ourselves, but in each other. Today, there's not a man nor woman in here that shall stand alone. Not today. Today, we face the monsters that are at our door and bring the fight to them. Today we are canceling the apocalypse.
Now, before getting into today's cult meeting, if you enjoy, leaving a like would be awesome as it gets the video out there, and subscribing will help the channel grow as we are growers and not showers. Alright, so, at the time of writing this script, Space Marine 2 has just been released globally. Yes, your boy was a part of the majority that waited for the global release and didn't give in to the temptation of Gold Edition, because I'm an absolute Chad that way and I don't need to play the game in advance to make awesome content. When you see this video, it has been a week since I wrote that, and let me tell ya, I'm feeling like a junkie who just discovered Breaking Bad. Now, majority of you who's returning from my viral video about my prediction on Space Marine and how I believe it was the death of Helldivers 2, it is with a heavy heart that I am here to admit
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
Nah, I still stand by my statement. Helldivers is still dead, and Space Marine 2 is the final nail in its coffin. Now you're probably thinking, Greg, the title of this video says you were wrong about Space Marine 2. We assumed that was what you meant. Fair, I don't blame you for that assumption. But no, that is not what I came here to talk about. Remember when I said the PvP was going to be dead in a week as soon as the game launched?
I was wrong. I was so wrong.
But that wasn't the only thing I was wrong about, and I am so glad that I was. Now, in today's cult meeting, we are all going to be going through the bread and butter of Space Marine 2 and why we should all collectively flip off IGN and other critic websites off as they spew nothing but absolute bullshit. So buckle up, boys. We're going to be pissing off a lot of die-hard Helldivers meat riders. We're getting right into the meat, and the one thing that the people have been punching me in the face with and has been on my case more than Saul Goodman. In the previous video about Space Marine 2, I said that the PvP of the game would be dead in a week, and from a dude who has been grinding for every last armor set and weapon in the PvP has to offer,
I just want to send out prayers to the ones that was lost last night.
But also here to say that I'm delightfully proven wrong. From all the comments that were shot at me and went for my throat, according to them, the main lifeline of the previous Space Marine game was the PvP, and was live up until the release of the second game. I haven't experienced the PvP of the first game at all, as the only thing I played in Space Marine 1 was the campaign, hence my hype for the reveal of Titus as Vox in the tutorial level. But the second game was a delightful introduction to the PvP scene of Space Marine and the Warhammer franchise all in all. The gameplay was very fast-paced despite being a massive tank of a soldier running around in power armor at 160 miles per hour. The 6 different classes in the game are extremely different from all the 5v5 or 6v6 games that I've been playing before. Most class-based games that I've played before either had non-iconic classes that kept the game alive for 12 years after its launch, which was later riddled with bots and now showing signs of death, or a roster of almost 50 heroes who have horrible balancing issues is most likely going to die when the release of an absolute juggernaut in the movie and comic scene comes in to snatch up 90% of the player base because everyone prefers the company over the greedy game company who are desperately trying to get their players back by reverting back to the first game. Alright, let's get off this really high soapbox and get back on track. The PvP is a lot of fun, and every class has a part to play. My personal favorite is the Volok, if I'm saying that right from the top of my head. Basically is the healer of the 6. You can plant a banner on the battlefield healing your battle brother's shields as an area of effect. Not only that, but when you sprint, the shield that you got on your left arm, that gets really confusing on how to use the first time around. You need to sprint when you use it, but when you do use it, because I figured this out late, you can actually use the parry option to just hold up the shield while walking. You block all of the damage and you take none. No damage whatsoever.
Impossible.
This is a perfect duo for what I feel like is another really good support role, the tank. The tank has a shield skill where if paired with the Volux shield, you can basically protect the entire team and work as one unit. And that's really cool. I know, right? A shield that blocks all damage and is actually a shield that can be broken just by shooting at it? Whoa! It's like it's doing what it's supposed to do. Protect you! I've also played a lot of Assault and Heavy, and when I say the gameplay is different and it's basically night and day, it's so diverse. It will make the woke mob scream in madness because this diversity feels more natural and they don't gotta force something down our throats and switch a gender of a beloved chapter. Topic for another day, but the PvP feels really smooth and a lot of fun for a 1.0 release. But for my fellow PC players, it does take a little time to get used to on mouse and keyboard, and I highly recommend you guys like get a controller to play the game overall, or if you already have one, you can connect it to your PC. But once you get used to it on your mouse and keyboard, nothing is stopping you from ripping apart heretics and capturing the objective for the glory of the Emperor. We good now? Did I finally glaze the PvP to your liking, internet?
Are you not entertained?
Good, that means we can push forward with the next talking point of this video, of which is more my preference over the PvP, but is very much so preferable over the PvP game mode. The co-op missions have a separate progression system compared to the PvP. The XP you gain from the missions here may translate over to PvP, because when I got a helmet design from the PvE, it transferred over to the PvP side of the game. But it may be different for y'all, or maybe I may be schizo. Hi, Future Greg here. Yeah, I am not schizophrenic. It does translate over to the PvP. This game mode only has 6 maps upon release, which I don't really mind after seeing the roadmap that the PvP will be getting more love down the line, along with more missions and a horde mode, but we'll talk about that later down in the video. This game mode was the game mode that I said would be the death of Helldivers 2. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. I was right. So right that Helldivers 2 is now unnerfing all of their guns as the competition has stepped up, and they had to put on their big boy pants and lock the fuck in if they want to go out on their own terms. The PvE is a game mode where you and your boys can chill out and purge the galaxy of Xenos and Chaos Marines alike, going around fulfilling objectives needed to complete missions. Basically Black Ops Zombies, but Xenos, and you're playing a roided up Captain America in an XO1 power armor set. Now, the thing that I really love about this game mode is it isn't just random side quests with random Space Marines. Now, if you've finished the campaign, or if you're playing the campaign right now, you notice that in the beginning of said campaign, you get a secondary squad right next to Gadriel's squad because you take command of his, and they're sent out on their own duties. What if I told you that the co-op is actually those set of Space Marines coexisting with the current campaign and is running simultaneously, basically parallel to the main story? A second squad of Astartes are doing their own thing parallel to the main campaign as you play it. I have never seen a co-op integrate their quests to the campaign so well in any video game before. Well, that's at least for me, because I'm again on the younger side of YouTube, but if you do know a game that has done a similar co-op to campaign like this, do leave a comment down below, because I am very intrigued to see this kind of co-op tie into the main story so much that I'm willing to play the other games that have similar co-op to this. So be sure to leave a comment on if there's any games out there right now, old or new, that have similar co-ops to this game mode that Space Marine 2 introduced, but this is actually a really cool concept. The game mode makes you feel like an important part of the story, because you are. This is the second point of view. The other guy, she told you not to worry about. And the best part is, you don't have to stick to the Ultramarine colors for the co-op, unlike the campaign. In the campaign, you still take control of Knight Titus, and if you're playing with a friend, they take control of either Gadriel or the other dude that I can't remember the name of. And you can finish the story together with your friends as the Ultramarines. The co-op has you and 2 of your boys come together as the second squad, as your own Astartes chapter. You can be a salamander, a fucking dark angel, hell, you could be a Templar, and you could all do this missions alongside the campaign. You can select your preferred chapter in-game so it looks like the Space Marines needed reinforcements from different chapters. The XP that you gained in co-op will stay in co-op. If you're level 2 in co-op, your PvP level will not change at all. The levels you gain in co-op is most likely for upgrading and unlocking weapons to better purge the planet that you're currently on. I personally prefer the Power Fist because I love getting up close to Xenos and see the life drain from their eyes as they meet their unholy Chaos God, and ripping off Chaos Marines' heads because when you betray your Emperor, you betray your brothers, and you don't deserve that helm you wear, heretic. The co-op is so much fun, and according to the roadmap, there will be more missions added down the line in 2025 alongside Horde mode, which we all know and love. Now, I don't know if that also means we're getting more to the campaign or not, but it would still be awesome to continue playing as the other guys, purging the galaxy of Xeno scum and heresy. I personally have sunk in a total of 10 hours of the game at the time of the recording of this, and will most likely be 20 hours in when I start recording the B-roll, because I still need to push through the campaign forward to unlock all of the co-op missions so I don't get spoiled, because I haven't finished the campaign yet, but I've seen a lot of spoilers, so I'm avoiding that as much as possible, but I will finish the campaign for the sake of the co-op missions being unlocked. Because you still need to proceed through the campaign to unlock all of the co-op missions, which I feel like makes much more sense. How are you supposed to play as the other guys in the co-op missions that is parallel to the campaign if you're not there in the campaign yet? Sure, you could be the squad that goes ahead and scouts forward, sure, that could be your preference, but I kind of like the thought of me and the boys running alongside Captain Titus in a different area of the planet, basically doing what they're doing, but as our own Space Marine chapters, but it's your preference, you can do whatever you want. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. The thing I've been seeing all of the Space Marine 2 Facebook groups.
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Now, this is just me, but the customization in Space Marine 2 is absolutely amazing. So much so that they made a subreddit about custom Space Marine armors. I swear, go look it up. It's actually a thing. I genuinely cannot wait to see someone make a Buzz Lightyear Space Marine and post it all over the internet, and eventually it will evolve into a cult following, forming the Space Ranger of Star Command faction on social media, where everyone is going to be rocking the same Space Ranger chapter paint, but I digress. Anyways, the customization is so welcoming and already extremely wide when it comes to the chapter varieties. Customizing both your Astartes and Heretics alike, you can quite literally feed into your main character syndrome with the individual paint job options and mix and matching armor sets. Now, Future Greg here, turns out you can also unlock armors from the co-op, and it will later translate to the PvP, which is... that makes it easier to grind for. You don't have to play the PvP all the time to unlock a specific armor set, and you can just queue up with the boys and purge a planet of Zemos, and boom! But I don't advise you play the co-op for the XP, as from my experience, it doesn't give much XP, but I think that's just because of the difficulty I'm playing on. But for me, if you want to grind for an armor set, I do recommend you play PvP over co-op, because win or lose, you still get a lot of PvP depending on what you do and how you help your team, but still, it's a lot of XP. But once you unlock all of the armor sets you want on a specific class, you can mix and match the armor pieces and make your personalized, dripped out Space Marine Astartes.
These are frame blue jeans. These are shoes that I picked up in Mexico.
This kind of customization is only seen, in my experience, in MMORPGs. I think all of you watching this video can all agree with me that you spent more time customizing your Space Marine than actually playing the game. I think a good chunk of the player base spends 80% of their time customizing their Space Marine before heading into battle because it makes you feel so much more powerful than just rocking the default presence the game gives to you. Because who doesn't want to show off the thing that they spent so much time customizing to all of the people playing in PvP, or maybe just your friends? Because I know I love showing off my fucking salamander armor to my boys and my girlfriend. I personally love mixing the gold and white on my salamander. It feels a lot more personal, and you can basically have your own headcanon on why your Space Marine looks that way, and I think that's the best part about the customization. Every Space Marine chapter's color has lore to it, and you being able to customize your Space Marine and give a reason why they look that specific way and why it doesn't match the colors of your chapter is a lot more fun, and what I personally feel like is such a good thing to have in a game like this. Giving your players freedom to customize and personalize their own Astartes chapter armor is so cool. You can be a Black Templar that's dressed up as an Ultramarine, or you can be a Salamander that wanted to cosplay a fucking Imperial Fist. Now that would be fucking awesome. Now, I have been glazing the Salamanders throughout the video because I really vibe with the Salamanders chapter, and I'd love to talk about the lore and all that, but I'm saving that video for another time in the coming weeks actually, because we have a very special collab in the works. You could say we're going to be starting with the feet. The customization is the bread and butter for me when I'm playing PvP or co-op, because I want to stand out while I play Space Marines 2, and I think the devs have executed that so well by giving us such freedom to mix and match our Astartes colors, and we don't have to stick with the flat colors that all of the chapters have in all of their armors. We can basically mix and match Astartes chapters but still be the same chapter as well. All in all, Space Marine 2 is an absolute amazing game on release that has been well received by old and new players all over the world. This not only brings Space Marines and Warhammer 40k in general into the mainstream because Amazon is making a Love, Death, and Robots type anthology that opens with the Space Marines. It seems the Emperor is about to shine his glory on Holy Terra once more, and more people will be brought into the fandom. To wrap this up in a beautiful bow, I think Space Marine 2 won't be Game of the Year, but I feel like it would be a really good contender for People's Choice Awards because a lot of people love the game. And at the time of recording, Warhammer 40k actually posted a milestone they just hit: 2 million players on Space Marine 2. The main reason being, it released on all consoles. I mean all consoles, including Xbox. The main reason why Helldivers 2 is very low in player count right now is because it's not accessible to Xbox. We have been begging for Xbox reinforcements since Malevolent Creek, and we have never gotten that. Space Marine 2 on release realized the untapped market Helldivers couldn't see. When it released on Xbox, PS5, and PC, the 2 million milestone was but a step away. Space Marine knew exactly what they were doing. Warhammer 40k knew their market and they capitalized on it. They released it on every console, and now it is the top-selling game on Steam and most likely on all platforms. Space Marine 2 is a game that you and your boys can just sit back, relax on, either in PvP, the campaign, or co-op. And I highly recommend, if you haven't yet, pick it up right now because this review is as honest as it gets. With this game kicking off the year for Warhammer 40k and the Amazon series, which I feel like is going to be a catalyst and another deal breaker for Warhammer 40k, it seems Warhammer is coming into the mainstream very, very smoothly. Oh, I think I forgot to mention the tithes. I wonder what they're doing.
To be clear, it was not a request.
The bravest and most handsome.
But that's all I got for you in today's video. What are your thoughts? You think Space Marine 2 is worth all the glaze that we're doing? Or did you click on this video because you thought I was gonna say Helldivers would be the death of Space Marine 2? Be sure to let me know down in the comments. Now, I'd just like to say thank you all so much for 1K subscribers. I never thought I would make this channel as big as it is right now, because I've never seen that number in my life, and I swear I got something cooking up for the 1K subscriber special. Just be patient, because I'm currently working on a lot of stuff for college and or for Big Boss Man, because I do work all this. I am still a freelancer, but it will be revealed down the line on what I'm working on for the 1K subscriber. Also, I would love to know if you guys would be down to have a Discord where we can all talk about Warhammer, Marvel, DC, or whatever we want to talk about. Just a place we can all hang out in and just talk to one another. Because I'd really love to get to know all of you on a more, as a dude level, because, I may be growing, but I'm not letting all these numbers get to my head. If you do want a Discord, let me know down in the comments. But if you enjoyed, leaving a like would be awesome, as it gets the video out there, and subscribing will keep you up to date on the latest cult meetings. That's all from your boy. I hope you have a wonderful day, and in case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.